Yeah, people usually think I'm on the phone doing other things while we're in these live videos, but really, I'm just checking all the messages that are coming through on the Instagram, on the gram, seeing what's coming through and trying to keep up to date with any questions that come by as we go live.
Yeah. So this was actually scheduled for Saturday. Both of us have crazy busy lives between
Chip, what's up, Chip?
Between family and operating this business. So we pushed it off, and now here we are at 6 something on Wednesday, or it's Thursday?
It's Thursday all day.
It's Thursday. So we got some questions. We're going to dive right into those from that people posted on our story over the weekend, and then if we have some time, we'll get to some more questions. Probably gonna turn that down a little.
Sure, that's bothering you.
So.
You gonna read them? You want me to read them?
No, yeah, I can't. The light's in the way.
Okay. Some of the questions that we got over the week were, question 1, notice some Amazon sellers have thousands of positive feedbacks. How do they do it?
And that is from Exclusive Products. So, there's a lot of feedback options, feedback software that you can pay monthly for, where when a customer purchases a product, the software will actually send that customer a request for feedback, and that's something, if you're not doing, you should definitely jump on.
There's also smaller scale too. So listen, I mean, things have changed on Amazon a lot, but let me go back to, there's also the smaller scale, which is if you're new to Amazon and you're not ready to purchase software, you could also go to Seller Central, set up a template, and then you have a template requesting feedback. There's so many things you could Google as far as, what messages customers are more likely to open, because lots of sales tactics about opening emails. So you kind of follow that same template structure that they have for sales, and you use that for feedback, and you kind of bait the customer into open the email, because they got to open it if you want them to leave feedback. And then once they open the email, you have to have the right subject, something that's short and right to the point and makes the customer want to leave you feedback. And then, like Eric said, now if you're ready for the next scale and you got orders coming in and you don't have time to send every customer after they receive their order a request for feedback, what you can do is there's plenty of different software companies out there that can provide that for you. But and with that being said, it also takes a lot of time. Like 1 out of every maybe couple hundred are going to leave you with feedback. I forget what our percent is. I think ours was like about 15% return right now for orders to feedback, something like that. So not everyone's going to leave you feedback, and in the past 18 months, Amazon's made it more difficult because they've allowed customers to opt out of receiving messages from sellers if it's not something that's an emergency. So it's become more challenging. But with that being said, if you follow the steps that we're telling you to do now here, it will become much better percentage. You'll have a larger percentage of buyers replying, and then you'll be growing your company. You'll look like a larger company, and the more feedback you have, it's one of the algorithms, the analytics that the Amazon buy box algorithm looks at. So you want to have more buy box percentage, you have to have larger feedback.
Absolutely. What's the next question?
Next question. Question number 2 is from Robert Pule. And he said, all of my shipments have been going to one warehouse. Why is that happening?
That sounds like a good problem.
Is that a problem or just a question?
Why is it happening? Amazon has their own algorithm as far as to where they send goods. I think that's a good issue to have, because then you're not, paying for, let's say on the East Coast, you're not paying to get one pallet over to Nevada, another pallet to California, another pallet to Chicago. You're kind of just all sending it in volume to one location. So that's a good problem to have.
ways to kind of steer in that direction is if you have a lot of volume of just one product going out, they might send it to one place. Another way is if it's all oversized, they might send it to one place. Another way is if it's all hazmat, they might send it to one hazmat location. And another way is if it's all case packed, they might send it to one location. It's by chance. All of our products go to one location, but that's just because of volume, because we're sending full truckloads when we ship, so it's going to one location.
Absolutely.
So for Robert, why is it going to one location? Because you're a lucky bastard.
Yeah.
That's why. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Chansky, let's switch it up. Chansky on here says, how many active SKUs do we have? Chunksy.
I think it's close to 3,000 right now.
About 3,000.
Yeah, it's like 2,800.
Okay. Next question up on the TV screen. How can you avoid getting Amazon placement fees? Can you avoid them?
Placement fees? Like,
anyone
I
out
don't
there
know.
What does he mean by placement fees? Can anyone out there help us out?
I don't know if Robert Puel's on here right now, but Robert, if you're on here, just elaborate.
What exactly do you mean by placement fees? Help me out. Chansky says he has about 30. What does he mean by placement fees? Give us a better description of that, and we can give you a better answer. On to the next question. Mr. Kelly, what was the first product you sold, and why did you choose that product?
We were just talking about this the other day, wasn't it?
First product I sold was Welch's Fruit Snacks. Why did I choose that product? Because it was the first product that I touched when I decided to sell on Amazon. Some people want to spend months researching and deciding how they're going to sell things. Me, I like to learn through experience, so I said I knew if I was ever going to get started and change the direction of my life, I just needed to get started. So went and purchased some product, put them up there, sold it, was so happy and ecstatic. I think it was 10. Actually, I don't think, I know it was 10 that it was sold. It was FBM, and then I realized I was offering free shipping, which was great, and then I realized that it was being shipped to South Korea, which was not so great because the shipping charges were ridiculous, and I quickly learned a lot from that experience and changed my shipping parameters and settings, had to cancel that order. This is going back about 7 years. So, thank goodness at that point Amazon wasn't suspending sellers like they do now. They're a little bit less strict. But, quick learning experience from that, and it didn't happen again.
Yeah. And then also, what did you, we were looking at the other day? Was it the dog treats? Milo's or something?
Oh, Milo's.
Yeah.
If you look up Milo's chicken meatballs, look up Milo's
They're
chicken
still
meatballs.
selling $288 a month.
You'll see Milo's chicken meatballs. You'll see a horrible picture for that listing, which I'm sure plenty of sellers have tried to probably change, and then seller support gives them a generic response saying you need manufacturer images or whatever, and there's probably no manufacturer image for it because it's a wholesale. It comes from a wholesale cub from BJ's, and it's one of those problems I'm sure so many of you are familiar with out there, but it's a shit image. I put it up there when I was selling in the basement. You can look at, we posted that on Instagram of when I visited that basement, so it's an image from there about 6 years old. That's one of our first products too, Milo's Kitchen Meatballs, dog product. Okay, let's go back to, someone says, I think he has the setting going to a single warehouse. If you do, if Robert Puel does have the setting going to a single warehouse, you definitely need to look at that, and that is why you're getting placement fees.
Yeah, that could get rather expensive.
So Reagan Job, thank you for that insight, because that is true. If he did at some point state that he wanted it going to one location, he didn't read the fine print, which means that if you do send it to one location, they will charge you a placement fee, and it's pretty expensive. So please, if you are sending to one location, or it's going to one location, you're not sending huge quantities, meaning over 5,000, 6,000 ASINs at a time, the reason for that is it's in your settings. So you're going to want to go to the top right of your Seller Central, click on Settings, click on FBA, Amazon FBA, which will be at the bottom of the settings, and down there you'll see all the information about commingled, about label, prep service, and also somewhere in there you'll see about placement. Stream is back. Yes, we're not gone yet. Have you noticed a lot of keeper charts don't show the rank even though you know the item sells?
Yeah, it's kind of common.
It doesn't show the rank? It does. Yeah. I'm assuming that you have a purchase version of Keepa, because if you don't, then you won't see any rank.
Yeah.
So if you have the purchase version of Keepa, it might not show the rank. Yes, absolutely. It also depends on how often somebody with Keepa is going onto a listing, and that's when Keepa pulls it. It kind of uses humans as a way to pull information. Otherwise, they'd be trying to pull from millions of Amazon listings all the time, which would become extensive. Do you lie when a manufacturer asks if you have a brick and mortar? Shadier than Slim Shady is asking if we lie.
I know why your name's Shadier than Slim Shady. Absolutely, we don't lie. It's not a great way to start a relationship with a lie. It's not a good way to harvest and grow a relationship with a lie. So we're honest from the rip, and we tell them, listen, we're a large e-commerce distributor, and we want to sell your products.
It's difficult to start off with. So a lot of the consultations that we do with students, they ask me that question, and I tell them, start with smaller distributors in your general area. They'll be more willing to work with you. You know, it is a little bit easier for us because we grow. We could tell them, you know, we're doing 150,000, 200,000 orders a month on all the platforms combined, and so they're more willing. I totally understand where you're coming from, but you have to look at it like, listen, if you want to purchase from this company a couple times and make a few dollars, go for it. Lie. See how far that takes you. But at the end of the road, like, if you want this to be a lasting income that keeps coming, like, you don't want to start hiring people and you're growing this great relationship and then they find out you're selling on Amazon and you never told them, and then they cut it from under you and your whole foundation is ripped from right under you, and you're like, you know, paddling up Schitt's Creek. So...
Absolutely.
You know, it depends which way you want to go. Like what Eric said, I would not recommend it. It's the more difficult route, to being honest. You're going to get more rejections, but you're going to find long-lasting relationships.
And that kind of leads into, we are paused right now on Instagram. We're still live on YouTube. So that leads into our next question.
The next question is number 6, which is, when getting into wholesale, should we focus on brand direct or distributors? When getting into wholesale, should we focus on brand direct or distributors? Next time, when getting into wholesale, should we focus on brand direct or distributors?
I would say focus on wherever you can make connections. The thing with going direct with brands is it's usually more expensive than going from a wholesaler or distributor, because when you look at it as a volume, from the volume aspect, a wholesaler or distributor is probably buying a truckload of the inventory. You might be buying a pallet, a couple cases, maybe even 5 pallets. But the price difference is usually we find products cheaper from wholesalers and distributors than we get direct from the brand. But not in all cases. There's a lot of companies we work with as well where the brand is actually less expensive. So I wouldn't eliminate any options. I would try them all. What would you do?
Same thing. And the reason that sometimes when we go direct with brands, it's less expensive is because we had that honest, open conversation. Yeah. They know we're selling online, and they want us to grow their brand online. Yeah, so it's absolutely not like, but otherwise they wouldn't give us that, exclusive pricing or whatever you want to call it. But most of the time, if you have a brand, the brand isn't going to sell it less than the distributor and wholesaler is. See, I didn't know that early on. I thought, well, if you go direct, it's always going to be the cheapest. But that's not the case, because if a brand is selling to distributors, distributors aren't going to purchase the products if they know the brand sells it to regular mom and pops for cheaper. Because the distributor will be like, why am I distributing your product? No one's going to buy from me. I'll just get stuck with quantity. So that's kind of that relationship that they have there. H. Daniel Glassglow says, on Instagram. What do you think of Amazon UK? Is it good to invest on it?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Get your hands in all the cookie jars. We're in the process of sending some products over there in the next month or so. And listen, if there's an Amazon marketplace that you can tap into, I don't see why not. If you understand the current marketplace, it makes more sense to sell initially in the marketplace in the country that you live in, because it's just easier logistically. But if you could branch out, I don't see why not.
Listen, with the changes that we've made in the past year, the developers that we have in house, we're going to be in UK. We've already signed up recently for Australia, which is a new one, Middle East, Japan, and then UK obviously involves Spain, Italy, France, Deutschland, Germany. Yeah, jump on it. Okay, so is it profitable right now? Maybe, maybe not. Is it something that's a huge market compared to US? No, it's not as big. But what is the advantage that Amazon Lit has over so many other companies out there is that we've been around for a while. We kind of were there before everyone wanted to be on Amazon and selling on Amazon. And you should follow suit and do the same thing in those international markets that aren't so big yet, because they will be. They will be. They will be. Eventually they will. It might take 5 years, it might take 10 years, but they will be. They'll have that same brick and mortar to internet sales ratio that the US has. They'll just take longer time. How to FBA asks, what do you guys use to ship FBM? Was that right? I just lost the question. Let's see. What do you guys use to ship FBM? Couriers or like how to FBA? Do you mean like what supplies do we use? What couriers do we use? Or what software do we use? And while we wait for him to respond, or her, let's. What's the next question on here? Is where is the best place to? Where is the best place?
Oh yeah, you're right.
To look for suppliers, online.
Trade shows.
Trade shows.
Trade shows.
Online and trade shows.
Yeah.
We'll do some reverse engineering. Too. Go through some catalogs, find some brands, and then contact the brands and see where it takes you.
Yeah.
What's the best CRM software for Amazon wholesale in the UK? Thanks. For Amazon wholesale in the UK, I think it'd be a mix, and it really depends on what you're trying to do. So, you'd want to have the feedbacks. It'd be the same thing as the US. You're going to want to have your feedback software. You're going to want to have something that's analytics like HIPAA. You're going to want to have your inventory management system, which you have multi-channel. And it depends what level you're at. It might be even more beneficial for you to kind of do it manually right now than spending that type of money on all these different softwares. How to FBA said, what carriers do you use to ship FBM for products that are small?
USPS.
First class mail, if it's under a pound. Another great one is USPS Cubiscan, and also Amazon shipping. It's a pilot program. Maybe some of you are a part of it already, but Amazon is also now competing with couriers and shipping the products directly. They come to our facility, they pick it up and deliver these FBM products, and their pricing is hard to beat.
Makes sense.
They're definitely losing money.
Yeah.
They're definitely losing money on it right now, but Amazon's Amazon. That's what they do. They lose money on it. They take out the competition, and then they slowly raise the price once they have a stronghold on the market.